Yes. Okay, good morning. Thank you, Ville, for the introduction, and good morning from my side. My name is Patrik Etelävuori. I work with the digital transformation. I'm a digital transformation lead at Finnair, meaning that what we do is basically penetrate all different business units to come up with or find the problems that we need to actually solve and come up with different solutions from either tech perspective or ways of working and so forth. But that is as most of sorry, are you showing to me something? Do I need to? Okay. Okay, so as most of the issues are digital nowadays, this is where sort of our role comes in. First of all, a bit about Finnair. I presume you all know Finnair as a company, but nevertheless, we are a network airline, meaning that our strategy is based basically mostly in Asia. So we are taking passengers from Finland to Asia or from Asia to Finland to then move forward. Of course, this is something that we also work with to keep the passengers in Finland for some days, but this is basically how Finnair's strategy is built up. Our employees, we have about 6,500 employees. Mostly of them are cabin crew. So most of our employees are up in the sky flying, and then of course we have production facilities with Finnair Kitchen, catering services and so forth, and cargo and whatnot, which means that we are a quite versatile company in terms of job positions as well. So again, putting emphasis in how we create experience for our employees that's holistic. Then maybe a few footnotes as well. We have about 80 aircrafts in our fleet. This is a bit old now, but nevertheless we have about 15 or 16 A350s that we have in our wide-body aircrafts in our fleets, and eight 330 wide-body aircrafts, meaning long-haul flights. And we also carry about 600,000 kilos of cargo every day. And most of that is actually fish from Norway to Japan on sushi tables. And for that we have also created a more or less end-to-end service for the whole cargo cold chain. On top of this, why we innovate and why we think about this is, of course, the sustainability aspect, because as you know, I always try to push this in wherever I talk. This is not in the stream slides because I guess this is not that validated yet, but it's really important for us to do whatever we can in sustainability terms. And I'm not going to go into details in this now, but small feet, big hands, open mind are the sort of values that we have in terms of sustainability, and also a big reason for in the open mind locker why we do innovation in the first place. And this is also something that we need to embed in our corporate culture, in our customer and employee experience, as there is just that much we as an airline can do, but the customer also needs to understand the sort of same issues that we are struggling with as an airline. Okay, but now going more or less to the topic. This is something that we have also discussed with Digitalist, what drives employee experience, and how I see it is that you have three main areas. It's the corporate culture, whatever it might be in your corporations. It's the digital or technological experience, and it's the physical space. So in Finnair's perspective, of course, we have airplanes, which are physical planes. It's one of the environments. We have different areas. We have the cargo, we have the kitchen, we have the knowledge workers, we have Finnair Flight Academy and so forth. These are all the physical aspects of the employee experience equation. Digital-wise, it's more or less how you can create the best user experience possible for your employees. You all know that you open your cell phones or computers, whatever. You have a vast amount of programs or applications running all the time. So we need to be able to create something holistic so that you could basically have a user experience in a digital surrounding that resonates the corporate culture. And at the end of the day, when you match all these three, you get the best employee experience possible. So you basically have to figure out how you make your corporate culture visible. And naturally, why we do this is because it's all about people. We want to be an attractive employee. Also, we are already, but we want to be that in the future as well. So naturally, we want to gain all the best talents to Finnair. The outcome, again, when you create the best employee experience possible, is that you get engaged and inspired people. You generate productivity and you generate efficiency. So why employee experience? Why we talk about employee experience so much nowadays is because all the future ways of working are changing all the time. So instead of talking only numbers, only square meters, or whatever it might be that is in your scope, employee experience is actually the driver. So how do we create and enable the best future working experience in the environment that's changing all the time? And again, when we hit all the numbers here, again, it's all about people. Why we do it? It's all about the customers. At the end of the day, we are in the people business as Finnair, and you have customer experience and revenue at the end of the day that we generate. Finnair, I'm going to go into a few examples. Actually, I'm working a lot with, as mentioned, with innovation. I work with our innovation ecosystem, and I work with extended reality cases mostly now, and also AI. So I'm going to show a few examples how what we are doing within that virtual reality or extended reality scope in order to create sort of new ways to generate a better employee experience, and again, how that again creates efficiency and towards the customer facing, it gives us new possibilities to serve as well. So as mentioned, we operate in both physical and digital platforms, and with the operational platform being the actual airplane, we need to solve the issues of how the airplane can be in the air as much as possible. So we work with turnarounds, maintenance issues and stuff like that, so that we can ensure our airplanes do not stay on the ground but rather flying up. And the other one is the digital platform, which I hope most of you know, with the Finnair mobile app, which is the sort of the clearest touch point for you as a customer, or Finnair.com site. So what we create in those two domains is sort of a holistic experience for the customers, but we need to ensure that we get most of it also for the internal use cases. Internally, you again going back to when you open your phone and start basically doing your daily work on your phone. You have mails, you have probably 3 different chats and this and that. So we try to create internally also a domain where we have the same experience as the customer has on Finnair.com or the application. The transformation stack we are working with, and this is, I guess, the same for most of the companies. And I'm not going to go through this now in consideration of time, but people, skills, and cultures is one of the most important things here. We need to enable and ensure capabilities for the future also. So when we bring out new ideas, as I'm going to talk about virtual reality soon, we need to ensure that the people also embrace those new ideas, and we get sort of we hit the floor running with the new solutions that we come up with. Technology drives a big part here. Here naturally, we need to ensure, of course, the IT legacy being on top of whatever we bring out. But when we bring in new technology, as again virtual reality, for instance, we need to ensure that we have a legacy system or IT that we can sort of glue to that new solution. By the way, I don't have a timer now, so I have no idea how much time 10 minutes. Okay, shit. Okay, so data-driven decisions. Why we do what we do, basically. Why we digitalize? Why we push these cases so hard is that when we use AI, when we use data, and when we use connected technologies, we enable data-driven decision making. Data-driven decision making enables us to make faster and more accurate and reliable decisions. And when we make more reliable and faster decisions, it affects you as a customer, because you are aware of what happens much earlier in sort of your customer journey. So data collection, AI, connected technologies, and on top of that, I'm talking about digital twin soon enough, but these three aspects create a possibility to do a digital twin, which again generates a data-driven decision-making model. So we get efficiency, better decisions, smoother journey for both customers and employees. And where we collect the data from is, and what we do with the data is of course, we have flight planning, we have fleet capacity, customer service, and so forth. So we have a lot of different touch points where we start to collect different data points. And that data we use for creating the employee experience and the customer experience. And what we do for employee experience, of course, it's a lot of internal new solutions that we start to work with, or use it for service design purposes so that we understand the problem better. And why am I talking about AI now suddenly in this aspect is because it has the highest untapped potential. In travel and transportation, AI has the highest untapped potential. So where we are basically dragging, when you think about the other industries that are using already AI. And why am I talking about immersive or virtual reality is because this is a clear path. When you use AI-driven development connected with immersive experience, you come up with, for instance, smart spaces at the end of the day, which in employee experience, for instance, is one of the biggest sort of efficiency triggers when you don't search for different areas anymore. Okay, I'm not going to go into the XR user interface, and I'm going to jump through these also, but I think I'm going to show a few demos. This is under construction. This presentation is not under construction, but these demos are. So, did I get this on now? No? Okay. Here we go. So, again, when we are doing our VR modeling, we think about the VR modeling as a digital twin. So we do one certain area and we use it for different purposes. This speed turnaround video that I'm now showing here is basically for internal use. But again, when we use when we initiate the speed turnaround process, it means again that we get the airplane out again up in the sky so that you as a customer get on board in time. So what we have done here is generated a 3D model and a 3D video for internal purposes so that we can sort of get as much employees as possible to see and learn about the speed turnaround process. And what this did in this way is that we gained large masses in training. We have created awareness and we have enabled a better feedback loop. So when we can push out a video in this format, we get our employees to engage in a discussion which we wouldn't do normally. And again, this has a clear effect in the customer experience as we again get as much information out as possible in a short amount of time. Next one is the digital twin vision. So this is something that's again really a demo version, and if you take pictures, beware. We are not using this. We are not using this by any means. But what we have done is that again we have modeled the aircrafts and the airport grounds, and we want to create sort of the surrounding as a digital twin vision, so that we get all the data points that you see here. These are actual data points from a turnaround process of an aircraft. So what our operations basically would in the future be using is that they would see the different time slots of what's happening in real time in the aircraft, so that they again could make faster decisions, and again this would have an effect on customers. So when we know what's going on at the airplane in real time and getting those real data points, we can make faster decisions, and this has at the end of the day effect on the customer experience, as this information is then thrown to you in the Finnair application or .com site. Cabin crew training, again one of our newer POCs. Again, how we enable a better employee experience is cabin crew training, and what we show here is aircraft familiarization. So aircraft familiarization at the moment is done on site basically, and when I'm talking on site, in the physical aircraft. So they need to take new cabin crew to the physical aircraft to do a familiarization training basically, and the familiarization is only to understand the surroundings. Sorry. So this is a lot of costs and a lot of time. So you need to always get the crew to the aircraft when the aircraft is in the service loop basically. And if the aircraft is already served and out again, you miss the slot basically. So what we have tried to create is a virtual environment, or we have not tried, we have created a virtual environment of the aircraft, again a digital twin model. And this model we are now with our Finnair Flight Academy taking into use, so that our cabin crew could in the future do the training virtually, and we make up to 70% savings in aircraft when you do the actual training in the aircraft, and 20% on top of that if you do it in a mock-up in our Finnair Flight Academy. So in the future, when we can use virtual trainings, again we go back to savings, efficiency, and so forth, because you don't need as much space either to do the trainings. And last but not least, and this is I'm even a bit afraid to show this because this is so new, but I'm trusting you. This is like what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas style of presentation now. So this is something that I haven't even internally shown that much. So be quiet, please. Yeah, exactly. But hey, what wouldn't I do for you guys? Yeah. So what we are thinking about is creating something like a new seat map model for when you buy your flights. This is like the customer experience part, and again using the same digital twin model that we have created for learning purposes, we would throw basically in the customer facing as well. So what you would do is you buy your economy seat for a flight. This is again, I think this is cool. They have put Norra like operating a 350 aircraft and flying to Portugal. So let's say you're flying to Portugal with Norra, and you booked a seat here somewhere in the back, economy seat right next to the toilets, and then you have a look that okay, let's see how does it look in the business class. So you might be intrigued to upgrade yourself with Finnair Plus points or maybe with money. And what we could do also here is basically showcase the servings. And we could do a virtual like model of all the different meal serves and so forth. And maybe you could even choose your wines beforehand. This has all to do also with sustainability. So if you can do these decisions before you enter the flight, it's more operational efficiency for us when we load the aircraft. So it's less kilos, less fuel used, and so forth. So everything is connected in that sense as well. And now I've been ranting and raving about. I've run through all the presentation that I basically thought that I'd do in 1 hour, so I did it in like 25 minutes. So sorry about that. But again, customer experience and employee experience, it's the same thing. What we do for customers, we need to do internally as well, and vice versa. So we need to walk the talk in that sense. And at the end of the day, it all has to do with getting rid of stuff like this and putting it into a format like this. And this is an application that we're actually using. It's called My Day, I guess, or something like that. But nevertheless, we get something that's manual to a digital format. Thank you, and I think time for questions. Hope I got something to stick anyway.
Thank you. Let's give him an applause. We have time for questions because we are live streaming, so please use a microphone so that the people that are attending the stream can hear your question. So any questions? There needs to be a one brave one, as Patrik was.
Thank you. Really good presentation, and it's really happy to see that you had like both the customer experience and the employee experience. That you need to have the both on the same level. You talked about the digital twin. Are you using it also for doing predictive models?
Yeah, good question. I ran through the AI part, but naturally the idea is to get a digital twin model to work like for the intent it needs to work. And now I know that let's say data centers use digital twin a bit in a different meaning than we now talk, because we talk about the whole actual surrounding and the airplane. But yes, we would like to embed like AI and predictive sort of models in the digital twin, so that we would maybe already we have a proof of concept running where we have a delays prediction based on weather information. So this would be something that we would like add on to that digital twin model. But we are far out from getting this like live. We have still a few hackathons and stuff and like that away. But this is something definitely that we are interested in doing.
Hi, thank you. Very interesting presentation. As a consumer and customer to Finnair, I have experienced that there are very many other companies that you operate your flights. So what is the kind of interface like that you have shown with the other companies who are serving under Finnair brand?
Yeah, I think you're or other companies serving under Finnair brand, or are you referring to code-share flights?
Like Finnair flight to Madrid operated by Iberian.
Oh yeah. So that's a code-share flight. Yeah. So these are code-share deals that doesn't basically affect. That's a good question, and of course it would be optimal if we could have the same sort of interface for even code-share flights, but that's at the moment not possible. So because those are actually different companies that we have partnerships with. Maybe let's say 20 years in the future, the aircraft doesn't have a label anymore. Then it might be, again, I'm talking like probably stupid stuff that someone is going to, as soon as I get to the office, but I try to disrupt.
Thank you. One final question. For people who are thinking about championing EX within their companies, what would be your top tips how to make that change happen? What is required?
Commitment. It's absolutely, without doubt, your executive commitment. In that sense, it needs to be there. HR driving this, because it's basically what, in my experience, I have been doing this also in Tieto Corporation before, and when you have commitment from HR and the leadership of the company, then you have an easier task, and it's more or less about making your corporate culture visible somehow. Because otherwise it's only words flying around and you can't grasp it. But if you make your corporate culture visible and you get the buy-in from your employees, then you're on a good way.
Thank you, Patrik. I think we need to move on to the next presenter. So thank you very much.
Thank you.